Alright then, this is all dry and good to go, so I'm gonna start thinking about closing this off. So whilst that was whilst this was drying, as I was saying, I was trying to work out what I'm gonna do with this. So I cut off another piece of the car here, and then I cut up that I cut off a section of that repair panel, and very quickly realized that I'm just gonna make my own, because the replacement panel is not very good at all. So like, even just see this bend at the top, how completely off it is, and just the thickness of metal is not right, the shape of it just is not right. I'm just gonna make my own. I tried to make it work, but I'm just gonna make my own. It's gonna be a piece like this, and then I'm gonna mess around with this area here for everything to join nicely, and I will continue the sill into this section, weld all of that all together nicely. I'm jumping ahead just because I was waiting for this to sort itself out. The next step for me is to weld this little piece in. Clean up the edges, weld this in, and then clean up the lines of the surrounding areas just so I've got some straight lines, and that's our next thing. Sweet! And kaboomskis! Every time I weld a little section with this new welder, I'm picking things up, I'm understanding what's affecting what. Along here I got like a relatively consistent thing going. Here I had a bit of a weird gap, there was some weird blobby stuff. But the most refreshing thing is that it's so nice to just be confident in the fact that even some of your potato mistakes are still made up of nice solid weld, and the penetration, even like the things that look a bit span-doofus, it's still good, and it's nice. Nice to be confident in the fact that the metal that you're putting down is not some weird porous crappy not holding the metal together. It's like, might look a bit funky wonky, but it's super solid, super structural. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. Let's give it a paint, move on to the next repair panel. Yes. Alright then. Absolute storm outside. Horrendous. Can you hear that? Yeah, you can probably hear that. Ridiculous. Okay, so I've been playing around with some stuff, cutting some bits, drawing some bits, making some templates, trying to cut out my next repair patch. So I think for my next move, before I can start building this piece here that's gonna come down and step down to connect to the bottom of the sill, I want to have some more meat here to know kind of what I'm working off against. Oh, welded this little thing here just to maintain my sill line here. I'm just gonna make that piece and then see if I want to finish the floor before I put that on, finish the floor before that, or put that on, then do this, or do the yeah, I'm gonna make this first and then work out what's comfy. I'm just here at the moment. I wasn't even gonna film it, I was just gonna do it and then offer it up and be like, oh look guys, I made this, but just reminded myself that even the simple things are not easy. 2 simple bends I needed to make, and I am sweating right now because without a metal brake, achieving neat, accurate bends, like when you're actually, I'm not just trying to bend it just willy-nilly, I'm trying to follow a precise bend. So like I'm trying to actually get that and that to be the same, which is, you know, that thing here. And oh Jesus Christ, this is the slightly thicker metal now. It's not that really thin, flimsy stuff that's really easy to bend. Oh my goodness, I got it done, but bloody hell, nothing is ever simple. Just been clamping it in between like different bits of angle and like so I was just concentrating on making sure that top bend here meets up nicely, and yeah, it's coming together. There's going to be a lot of meat at the bottom that I'm leaving on purpose that's going to get cut off. If you see this black line here, that's where the bottom of the sill is, the very bottom of the sill. So that's going to get chopped off once everything is on, and it's going to get trimmed just so it's perfect. But yeah, I need to trim this here so that butts up to this. This is looking quite good here already. And then inside of here, I'm just going to chop all this. I'm going to chop all this up. So chop it and bend it so this meets into here and at the top as well, so it's all just flows into one. And yeah, I think this is nice. It's coming together. I think I need to complete this section of the floor because it has a lip on it that then will weld to the new bit of this sill. So basically the old piece, it should be a very simple piece. That was the old thing, and it was basically there. It just needs to be kind of like a strip that just goes bloop, 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 zigzag strip. Once I make that and weld that in, then I can weld the sill in. I'm sort of continuously making a list of stuff to do and altering it and adding bits, taking bits away, just so I can keep myself on track as I'm going along, because I still get so distracted with everything. It's ridiculous. I'll be doing something and then I start looking at something else and start thinking about, oh my god, how am I going to repair this, even though that's not even the thing I'm working on. So that's been helping me. And yeah, should be a simple, this floor bit should be nice and simple. It's thin metal and it's just a tick, 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 and I just blip, 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 and blip, blop, blip, blop, blip, bloop, flippity, blop, blippity, bloop. This is a public service announcement. Everything takes absolute freaking ages. As soon as you touch something, next thing you know, 4 hours has gone by and you don't know what the hell's going on anymore. I made a little floor piece. It's obviously not finished yet, but this is the little floor piece. Couple of self-tappers holding it from the bottom. This bend here to line it up with the sill, which is, it's this piece of metal there that comes down. Obviously everything's going to be trimmed. I've had to rebend, I don't know how many times. I don't want to talk about it. I kept messing it up and it wasn't lining up well. The way I got this to meet up finally is giving me the fizz. I feel good about that. Everything's all good and lining up and nice and good and nice. Okay, I'm gonna go home for the evening. I don't even know what's going on. Fabricating up a storm. I just did something for an experiment just to see if I could do it, and it kind of worked out, so I just want to show you. See how factory panels, they have this step in them for like where panels are supposed to join. There is a tool that you can use to actually make that, but I wanted to see if I can create the same thing with just hand tools. If you look, there's just a very slight step, and all I did was just on this sharp straight edge of metal, I just worked it very, very gently, tapping it just on the edge, clamped it, and then just tap, 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 tap along the line, marked out my line, tap, 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 and flip it around to create that kind of step down. Interesting little metal working experiment. But yeah, it's good to know, good to know. Working with thin metal makes you feel like king of fabrication. So this is the floor piece that I've just been making. Obviously, because it's so thin, it's really nice and easy to manipulate, but I got it pretty perfect. It just kind of goes badoink, and it's such a lovely fit. Everything adds up nicely. Has a little step in it. I'm gonna trim it, cut there, lose some of that material there, trim it up, give it a little spray of weld through primer, and start prepping the area to weld it in. And then just, yeah, get it in. Like it. I am super duper in the zone. I'm trying to take advantage of my current drive to just be doing stuff, so I'm not filming the whole process of me doing everything, but I'm just cracking on with it. I've lined everything up, cleaned up the edges on everything. Everything is primed. The lip of underneath is primed freshly. This is all primed. This is ready to be welded in. This little difference here, I think I'm going to cut the rest of this lip along all the way down. Welders here, that lip is overhanging and it's all rusty all along the edge, so I think I'm gonna trim it along the length of the car, but we'll address that another time. I think I have everything lined up how I want to weld that in. Once that's situated, I'll be able to finalize the placement of the sill, inner sill, and clampities. Gonna weld her in. This welder makes me so happy, it's absurd. Look at how beautiful it's welding. It's just so nice to use every single time, especially when you kind of get the gist for what the settings are doing. Once you get a feel for it, it's like, ooh, yeah, so good, so much fun. Oh, I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. I just can't. Right, welded in, tidied up. I'm gonna leave it alone for the evening, come back and grind it tomorrow. Yeah, I love the welder. The welder is absolutely bloody incredible. I love it, it feels amazing. Experienced some weird stuff, obviously, as always. A bit of warpage. This little bit, it's hard to pick up on camera, but there's a dip in here and it needs to be like flat. I will sort that out, I'll work on that. And the weird thing that's happened is that, so this panel, this repair panel that I made had loads of room either side. It was going in freely before, but I could barely squeeze it in. I had to, even a couple of places, I had to shave a little bit. So that makes me think that this and this got closer together by maybe like 1/10 of a millimeter. But I don't know how that, I'm not entirely sure how that happened. Something contracted somewhere because of the heat, because of the welding, and it's like pulled the whole the whole side of the car together by like 1/10 of a millimeter. It's fine, it's not a big deal, like I don't care, but it's not going to affect anything at all. But it's just interesting. I'm still obviously learning how to get a good weld, but there is so much more to welding. You have to consider all the shrinkages and expandages and mortgages and mortgages. So I'm still just concentrating on my technique to get a good weld rather than thinking about other stuff. But it's just something to think about. Obviously, it's a continuously learning, continuously picking up new things. There's a lot to it, but yeah, love it. I'm gonna clean it up. I'll show you what it looks like after it's all sanded down and prepared, and then we'll continue. Good progress. Amazing. Let's keep it going. Splip-dibbity-bop. Favorite YouTube fabricator word? Fettling. Amazing. A lot of fettling later. I have done a couple of little bits here and there, and let me demonstrate to you what my next step is. I have just been messing around with all of this here, and I think this panel is now ready. I've been playing around with the end of the sill, marking out where my spot welds are gonna be, making sure my gaps are ready for welding. I'm gonna do my favorite thing in the world and give it a spray with my favourite weld-through primer in all of the land. I'm 100% aware that I'm using this thing too much. I don't need to be spraying absolutely everything with it, but I just really enjoy it. I like to use it, I like the smell of it, I like the look of it, I love this stuff. Can't do any harm. Some of it's gonna get taken off, so it's a waste, but I don't care. Like, I love it. I welded in this little nub here and also got my holes for my spot welds there. I had to extend this little section here because this piece that I'm gonna weld in along here, it's gonna come out and go all the way down from here all the way down to there, and it's gonna fold in on itself, and the bottom of the sill is gonna be welded to that. But this is what it's looking like. I'm very happy with it. Everything's lining up nice, like all of these transitions here, this is all good. I'm very proud of this bend here. I know it's a very simple dip step, but you'd be amazed how difficult it is to achieve like the same roundness on all the bending, and it's come out like this bit here. I'm very proud of. Very nice. So yeah, a bit of copper primer and start welding it. Alright, let's just get it done. Wham blam, thank you Japan. This is the final product. The piece is all welded in. The welds have been ground down somewhat. In some places I've left them quite proud. In other places I've got them down smooth. All along here there are spot welds. At the top here I've smoothed everything off. There's a spot weld there because obviously this sill is going to be welded along this line here, so that needs to be all nice and flat. Spend a little bit of time shaping this area just so it looks nice and presentable there, even though it's all going to be covered. Also on the inside here, made this quite flat, shaped this edge there. It's all looking very nice. I will put this brace back in before I do any more welding, just in case, just so this edge is sort of solidified and stays in one place. Yeah, I trimmed this little bit here of the chassis leg because it was bothering me. My OCD was going wild because this line wasn't parallel, so I trimmed that up. But yeah, quite happy with this. It's all very nice and solid and good, everything. So finally this part of the car, everything is tied in together. The floor is welded to the frame rail, the sill is welded to the floor at both ends. Like, everything is nicely connected. It's all solid and good, and it's really nice. It was really difficult to get inside. As you can see, some drips here, because it was really difficult for me to go inside of there to clean up the welds, to paint them, to make sure the repair is nice and protected. But this is looking good. On to the next thing. My next step is to make up the area that goes into here.